Come to me, my children. Follow the sound of my voice to receive thy blessings. Unburden yourself.
Ow! 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 Ow!
And welcome to the Church of Last Resort with the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll. The Church of Last Resort, where your prayers are heard, your sins forgiven, and no matter what you believe, you won't believe this shit. And now, the Reverend, the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. It is a beautiful, blessed day, June 22nd, year of our Lord 2025. Sorry about that. Sounds like maybe my throat just got bombed, one of those bunker buster things. Brothers and sisters, I'm just going to delay my regular introduction just to say that, yes, it is true. The dipstick in chief, or whatever you want to call that guy in the White House, okayed bombing Iran directly on behalf of the United States. I don't know what the fuck he's thinking. We will attempt to break it down later on during my sermon itself, but I just want you to know I'm not unaware of the disastrous things that's going on around us. But be that as it may, or here's the deal, or here's what I'm thinking. We can wallow in the misery that a certain someone in Washington is trying to heave upon our shoulders, or we can acknowledge it, look for solutions, and kind of laugh while we're doing it. And hopefully I will provide you with some means of merriment while we contemplate our eventual demise. I think it would be like if there was a comedian on the Titanic instead of a quartet, and instead of them going da, 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 while the Titanic is sinking, you have like Henny Youngman going, "Take my ship, please," that kind of thing. And sorry, that's just according to some encyclopedias, that's gallows humor, and some books it's just gallow, no humor. So, brothers and sisters, good morning. This includes our new members who may be enjoying us for the first time, wherever you may be and wherever you want to be, because you may not be where you want to be. There you are. Welcome to the Church of Last Resort. I am the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll, PhD, DDS, ADHD, MCMLIX. People have also called me the racy reverend, the pervert pastor, the vile vulgar vicar of vice, the sexy shepherd, the missionary man, the minister of mischief, the wicked witness, the dirty deacon of doggy style, the frisky friar, the ass man abbot, the booty banging brother, the handsy high priest, Father Fistmas, the wicked I like to watch witness, the holy ho, the divine dominating dominee, the depraved preacher, the minister of making love, the clergy of cunning conversation while eating pussy, and that nasty N-word. But you know what you cannot call me? You cannot call me a supporter of the asshole that's in the White House. That's what you can, or his policies. You cannot call me that. Okay. Now, the point is, I come by many names and by many methods. I don't come easy. Hell no. So, brothers and sisters, let us begin. I'm sorry. I'm told it was too soon. I guess it was too soon for the opening prayers. I'm not sure. But the opening prayers are scheduled right here. So let us begin in the name of George Collin, Robin Williams, and Richard Pryor. Can I get a fuck yeah, y'all? Yeah! Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Now, so it's time for our opening prayers. And if you or someone you know is in need of a prayer by the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll, moi, please send your request for a prayer, healing, forgiveness, or any such bullshit to me at the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll at gmail.com. The way it's scrolling across the bottom, you see it scrolled them across the bottom, just scrolled them across the bottom. We scrolled them right across the bottom. Spell it with an E, and please remember to put that E on the end. If you don't, one of those other bastard jelly rolls will get your request, and you know they're not going to do anything with it. With me, you know I'll do something with it. May not be what you want, but it'll be something. You will not be ignored. Now, for our disclaimer, while all prayers are heard, not all prayers are answered when we want them to be. Some loopholes and restrictions may apply. Thus saith the attorneys. Now, thus saith me, they were applied. Okay, there's no may. May is legalese. Okay, we did it. We applied them. So please bow your heads. Damn it, I forgot to mention our sponsor. We have a foam rubber sponsor, not officially, but unofficially. I don't know if they asked to be a part of this menagerie, but we got the ad, so we're going to use it. So if the people in our booth would just hit the button and go kabam, and we'll play you a little.
Soft and pink. She comes without a head, but at least she'll never shit the bed. You need a fake rubber squeeze. Be like Stephen Ortiz. Lube it up, it's so soft. Get you 10% off. He goes to Tantalene. He goes to Tantalene. He goes to Tantalene. He goes to Tantalene.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, choir. Thank you so much. That's a little pick-me-up that we needed. Some of us needed. And so now that you've heard from our sponsor, please bow your head unless you were driving your car or your significant other. And if that is the case, just close your eyes and let Jesus do the driving while we pray. Dear Lord, please bless Sister Ann Barrell. Ann Barrell, the Food Network star who hosted Worst Cooks in America. And somehow my first wife didn't make it on that show, so I'm assuming they just didn't find her body. Or there are worse cooks than her. She's been doing that show for 15 years. She was found unresponsive in the shower in her Brooklyn home on Tuesday. Now, unresponsive in the shower is also how you may find some sex dolls. So maybe she had a part-time job. Working for a Tantalene or something. I don't know. Doesn't say. She was 55 years old. Okay. Now, with her blonde, spiky hair and magnetic energy, Chef Ann Barrell was known for her zest for life, making her death this week particularly shocking to fans, friends, but most of all to her. Ann Barrell also appeared on Chopped, Chef Wanted, and Secrets of a Restaurant Chef. She reportedly suffered cardiac arrest and her body was surrounded by pills. Now, while being surrounded by pills is suspicious, it may not be the cause of death. A friend of mine's body was found surrounded by flies. We know the flies didn't kill him. And now what may have killed him was the fact that his wife caught him surrounded by hookers. That's a different thing. Okay. But he was also surrounded by family. The family, so just because she's surrounded by pills doesn't mean the pills killed her, is what I'm trying to say. Let's not jump to conclusions or into the shower with a corpse. Ann Barrell's something, because I went beyond the line, I can't read it. Ann Barrell's sudden death is reportedly being investigated as a possible drug overdose, and that's according to the New York Times. Rest in peace, Ann. You were chopped. Can I get a recipe for disaster? Dear Lord, please bless Brother Mark Garneau, former Canadian astronaut and cabinet minister Mark Garneau has died. He was 76. Now, according to the statement from his wife, Pam Garneau, she says he passed away peacefully after a short illness, possibly dwarfism. That's the shortest illness I can think of. Technically, it's not an illness, it's a condition. We'll see. We'll see what kind of lawsuits we'll get. While surrounded by his family. Okay, surrounded by his family is awfully suspicious, and they should look into that. Quote, Mark faced his final days with the same strength, clarity, and grace that defined his life. That's what the statement says. But of course, what we know is that Canada's strength is measured in moose power, while United States' strength is measured in horsepower. One moose power is approximately 0.83 horsepower, in case you're trying to do the math. Okay, so Garneau began his career by enlisting in the Canadian Navy, where he served from 1974 to 1983. After that, Garneau became the first Canadian to travel to space as part of a NASA mission in 1984. That's right. That is his claim to fame. He shall forever be the first Canadian to space. After holding various positions at the Canadian Space Agency, he became its first vice president, then its president from late 2001 until 2005. In honor of Mark Garneau's life, Elon Musk involuntarily disassembled a SpaceX rocket. Rest in peace, Mark. You were a Class A act. And can I get a why couldn't it be Trump? Dear Lord, before I continue, I just want you to know this: from here on out, all of these things, I could just replace the name of, dear blessed brother, sister, or brother, or dear Lord, please bless. I could just replace that with, who the fuck are you? Because I don't know any of these people, but apparently they're celebrities. Okay, so I apologize if I say the name and you go, who the fuck are you? All right, I'm just saying that now. Dear Lord, please bless Sister Betsy Gay. Already she's been removed from all DEI references in the government. She doesn't even exist anymore. Betsy Gay was a child star in the 1930s and 1940s Hollywood, appearing in Hal Roach's Our Gang comedies. The Our Gangs eventually became the Little Rascals, for those of you who aren't keeping score, or saying, who the fuck are Our Gang? Okay. As a matter of fact, G.D. Fenderson has a song called Our Gang Now, which is like a tribute to stealing the opening line from his bass player, who started writing the song and said, I'll have nowhere to go with it. And so G.D. picked it up. But it's like a tribute. It's like a modernized Our Gang. It's Our Gang now, but not then. It's called Our Gang Now. That's what's called. But that's beside the point. She went on to become a country singer, covering Hound Dog several months before Elvis Presley did, but years after Big Mama Thornton, a black woman, did it. I'm not saying she's guilty of cultural appropriation. I'm just saying that Big Mama Thornton recorded it first because the song was written for her, okay? I'm just saying, a little bit of black history, a little bit after Juneteenth. Betsy was also a world-class yodeler, twice winning the California State Championship. She was 96. Her cause of death is undisclosed. So please help us at Mind Dog TV fight undisclosed disease by purchasing Church of Last Resort gear. A portion of all proceeds will go directly to profit, and that profit will be used to pray for a cure to undisclosed disease. She was born Elizabeth Ann Gunst on February 2nd, 1929 in Waterford, Connecticut. Waterford, you may know that name from crystal, glasses. Waterford Crystal. Could be the same place, or Waterford could be in Germany. I have no idea. I just know that there's a Waterford, and I just wanted you to think I had class by the fact that I knew that there was Waterford Crystal. Just wanted you to think I was a classy guy, that's all. Not that I was good at geography. I just knew how to spend money on crystal. She was born into a musical family. Her parents, Charles and Helen, ran a music school teaching singing, piano, banjo, violin, guitar, bass, steel guitar, and accordion, according to sources. The family, though, moved in her early childhood, eventually settling in the warm climate of Southern California to help her brother's asthma, because her brother's asthma was not having enough success in killing him. So he says, let's move to California so that can help. Betsy was 6 when she appeared in the Our Gang comedy. It was called Arbor Day, 1935. She started out as one of the group of 8 children who sang and tap danced before being given the part of Effie, girlfriend to Alfalfa, one of the series' most popular characters. I don't know if they meant Alfalfa or Effie. I'm thinking they mean Alfalfa because I forgot that Effie existed. Matter of fact, when you look at Alfalfa, him even having a girlfriend was Effie to begin with. Betsy appeared in other films, making around 40 in all, including The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. She had an uncredited appearance. Mystery Plane, which could be just about any flight today. She also appeared in regularly at the Pasadena Playhouse in plays such as Quality Street, A Kiss for Cinderella, and Heroes Unlimited. Rest in peace, Betsy, you little rascal. Can I get a "Your lady too"? Yeah, see that's you didn't know I could yodel, did you? Yeah. "Your lady too." Yeah, I can do that. I can yodel. And I may have broken the microphone. I apologize. Too soon. Dear Lord, please bless Sister Ananda Lewis. Who the fuck are you? That's right. The former MTV host of Total Request Live and BET host who became a beloved television personality in the 1990s, but not in my household, with her warmth and authenticity, has died. She was 52. Her cause of death was not released, but it is suspected that the cause of death was stage 4 cancer, which is 3 stages more than most SpaceX rockets ever reach. Lewis left MTV in 2001 to host her own talk show, The Ananda Lewis Show, which aired for 1 season. She appeared on the reality series Celebrity Mole. And I remember that show. They show you close-ups of people's faces, just the moles, and you have to guess which celebrity that mole belongs to. I think the first episode featured Cindy Crawford, and then the next one featured, I think, Abraham Lincoln, and then there was a bunch of other moles, celebrity moles that they showed. That show, I don't think it did very well, or they rebranded it later on. Don't remember much about it. But that was in 2004, and this is 2025, and we're still talking about those moles. After that, she hosted shows including Entertainment Tonight spinoff The Insider, A&E's America's Top Dog, okay, and TLC's While You Were Out. And I think While You Were Out was basically a show where they monitored the progress of coma patients and what happened in their lives while they were out. I didn't see any of those shows, and I may have made a few of them up. Ananda had become an advocate for regular mammograms after being against them for many years, mainly because her mother had gotten a mammogram like once a month for 30 years and died of breast cancer. So she was like, well, what the fuck am I getting my titties squeezed for if it's not going to help? So she became like an anti-advocate. But once her breast cancer was detected, she became a very strong advocate. So if you want to support breast cancer research, send $50 to the Church of Last Resort, and I will come by and squeeze them titties for you. Don't let your titties go unsqueezed. Do not risk your health. $50 can save a life and get me off the streets at night. Rest in peace, Ananda. Should have had them tatas squeezed like fresh lemons. Well, I don't know what size fruit you had. Could have been grapefruit, but the point is, get them tested. Can I get a pink ribbon to go? Dear Lord, please bless Brother Harris Yulin. Who the fuck are you? Harris Yulin, the ever-present Emmy-nominated actor who appeared on such films as Scarface, Clear and Present Danger, and Training Day, and on television in Frasier, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, and Ozark, has died. He was 87. Yulin died Tuesday of cardiac arrest in New York City. I said Tuesday, but that's probably a Tuesday a week ago, right? I don't know. No, maybe it was this past Tuesday. But anyway, let's just say it was Tuesday, just so that I won't be confused. That's what's important. Okay, Yulin died Tuesday of cardiac arrest in New York City. Yulin stood out as the corrupt Miami detective who tries to extort money from Al Pacino's Tony Montana in Scarface. He was the manipulative national security advisor who matches wits with Harrison Ford's Jack Ryan in Clear and Present Danger. And he was the corrupt cop Ross Sully in Antoine Fuqua's Training Day. As often as Yulin played the bad guy, it was not a surprise that is how he went out, arrested by his cardiac. Most people know Harris as, who the fuck is Harris Yulin? That's right. Oh, him. That's right. Once you see his face, you go, oh, him. Rest in peace, Harris. Now that I know who you are, can I get an autograph? Dear Lord, please bless Sister Terry Louise Fisher. Terry Louise Fisher, the former Los Angeles Assistant District Attorney who put her legal expertise to work when she teamed up with Stephen Bochco, that guy, Stephen Bochco, to create or is it Baco? I'm going to say Baco, because I haven't had to say that name in a very long time, to create the acclaimed NBC drama L.A. Law. As she has died, she was 79. Good morning, Mr. Bryant 988. And thank you. I hope I get it too. Yes, indeed. I don't know why he thinks I need help though. Well, I have help in the back room, in the studio. As producer, I can't push all those buttons by myself. I got help, but thank you. A cause of death and place of death has not been released as of yet. Senator Joni Ernst said that Terry was going to die anyway, so what's all the fuss about? Rest in peace, Terry. You gave us L.A. Law, and thank you. You also gave us Hooperman. We forgive you. Can I get a little something for damages, though? Amen. And finally, the help that everyone thinks I need. Dear Lord, bless the entire behind-the-scenes staff at Mind Dog TV. They are truly doing your work, helping to spread your word throughout the wordosphere. Amen. They could be anywhere today, but they're here, just wishing they were anywhere today. And that ought to count for something. MindDogTV.com, the place to go to get your Church of Last Resort gear. And now, let's have a little bump for the Lord. Today, our little bump for the Lord is sponsored by the Slaptail Squad out of Kalamazoo, Michigan. That's right, quality comedy for quality dollars. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, check out the next Beef Man show, which is sometime whenever. And also his open mics on the first and third Tuesday of the month in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Just check out, just look them up. Slaptail Squad. That's right. Just look them up right there. That's it. See? Check them out on Facebook. So now let's have a little bump for the Lord. Shit. Where's my flask? There we go. Yes, indeed. A little bump for the Lord. That'll straighten out your collar. Yes, indeed. That's the good stuff. Tito. Or is that Jermaine? But anyway, that's the good stuff. So, brothers and sisters, in the name of George Collin, Robin Williams, and Richard Pryor, can I get a fuck? Yeah. Indeed, yes, indeed. Lord have mercy. Now, brothers and sisters, before I continue with our sermon of the day, which I changed at the last minute, so uh, mainly because shit happened while I was sleeping, and I woke up and I said, "What the fuck?" And so I had to switch things up a little bit. So a lot of this is going to be off the cuff. Which cuff, I'm not sure. Depends on how they fit. But there is no link between my cuff and my sanity. So we'll see what happens. But I want to hear from a word. For those of you who know about Mind Dog TV, our premier show is Coffee with the Dog, Monday through Friday. And here is Sister Curly Hair So Bright to tell you how you can be a guest on Coffee with the Dog. Sister?
Comedians, musicians, songwriters, filmmakers, authors, and podcasters. Coffee with the Dog is booking for the
Summer and fall.
now. Get free publicity and hone your interview skill in a fun and safe setting. Coffee with the Dog is a live radio, live stream podcast based in New York that airs daily Monday to Friday 9 a.m. to 11 o'clock in syndication on iHeartRadio, as well as video streaming platforms like YouTube, Twitch, Rumble, and many other platforms. Guests usually come on remotely via StreamYard, like Zoom but easier, although occasionally we do in-studio interviews. The morning show focuses mainly on comedians and musicians, and they have interviewed many top names and classic celebrities such as Robert Klein, Mike Binder, Eddie Brill, Doug Stanhope, Steve Byrne, Paul Provenza, Jeff Altman, and many, many others. For booking, go to minddogtv.com/booking.
Thank you, sister. Now, in lieu, I just want people to understand something. First of all, I want to welcome you to Switzerland, which is what Trump is trying to do to this country. He has changed us from the United States into Switzerland. Now I call it Switzerland because the man cannot make his fucking mind up about a thing. He says, "I'm going to do A," and then says, "I'm going to do," and then he does B. Then he says, "I'm going to do B," and then he does C. Or then he says, "I'm going to do D," and he does nothing. Okay? Switzerland. That's what it is. Because motherfucker can't pick a position and stick with it. And here's the problem. The problem is twofold. And it could be threefold by the time I'm done. Again, I'm making this up as I go along. Part of it is us. Okay? It's us. Part of it is us. No doubt about it. It's the way people are. People are just, we don't think things through. We're not critical thinkers, and we don't go next level. We grab the first answer that we think fits our narrative, and we just ride with it. I'll give you a perfect example. When Trump was running, campaigning, he had this billboard in the back, and it says, "I alone can fix it." Okay, I alone can fix it. Now. And everybody kept thinking, "Oh, he's going to fix the economy." All right. Yeah, he's going to fix the economy. Right. Me. Right. Economy. He's going to fix it. And they're thinking, this is what most people are thinking. The economy was bad, and it wasn't. It was actually, the economy was good. There was some tightness in some people's wallets, and I don't blame you. I felt it too. But I knew the economy as a whole, when you compare it to the rest of the world, was in great shape. And there were people just wishing that they had our economy. But they're saying Trump is going to fix the economy. And they're thinking he's going to repair it. Okay? And that's how they voted. They voted, he's going to fix the economy. He's going to repair it. But when Trump meant was, he's going to fix the economy. He's going to rig it. Okay? And he did. They rigged the economy. All right. And it's very simple to do. And some of this wasn't even things that he did on purpose. See, that's the problem. A lot of shit is just, he opens his mouth, bad shit happens, and then he opens his mouth again, something good happens, and then he wants to take credit for it. When it's just a matter of him just not knowing what the fuck he's going to say. Okay. He just rambles all over the place. And wait till see what happens. And if it's good, he takes credit. If it's bad, he blames Biden. All right. Or And here's a beautiful one of the beautiful things. There was in Arizona, there was a primary in Arizona, and two Republicans were primary against each other. And they asked Trump, "Who do you endorse?" And Trump goes, "I'm endorsing them both." Now, the guy who lost, Trump never talked about again. The guy who won, Trump says, "I endorsed him." And that's how that man's brain works. Okay. In his mind, he can never lose. And if you don't count his losses, they don't count. All right. So he only counts the things that he thinks he's won, and even things he didn't complete, even the things he didn't do, even things he didn't win, he takes credit for. And then it looks like people, to them, the idiots, looks to them like he's a winner. And if the press covers it that way, that's the impression we all get. But that's not what actually happens. Okay. Now, where's my eraser? Another thing that Trump likes to do. Okay. Another thing that Trump likes to do is when he has no idea what the fuck he's going to do about something, and they'll say to him, Mr. Trump, I'm sorry, they'll say, "Sir." They'll go, "Sir, when do you expect, when can we see results from your past decisions? Or when are you going to give us an answer about so-and-so?" And he always says, this is it. And I'm pretty sure you know what this is. He says 2 weeks. Okay. That's what he says. And that's what people hear. Okay. But that's not what's going on. That's not what's going on. See, everything is 2 weeks because waiting to see what is likely to happen so that he can either assign blame or take credit is what he does. And he's waiting. He's just waiting to see what's going to happen. How are things going to turn out? And then he'll, so he was like, "When are we going to know about what tariffs are going to be where?" He goes, 2 weeks. And then he waits to see what countries react and how they're going to react. And then he goes, 2 weeks come up. And then he'll make a speech which reflects what actually happened. And he makes it sound like that's what he intended to happen. So he says 2 weeks, and people hear 14 days, okay? A fortnight, right? That's what they hear, a fortnight. When he says 2 weeks, this is what they hear. But when he says 2 weeks, I hear 2 weeks. He's just 2 weeks to make a decision, okay? He's 2 weeks to take responsibility. He's 2 weeks to take an action. So that's what I hear. I hear 2 weeks. When he says 2 weeks and people hear 14 days, I hear the motherfucker just 2 weeks to make a decision. That's what I hear. So now some people, now I'm going to let you in a little clue, a little secret, because this is how I was when I was younger. When I was younger, I was afraid to make decisions. I didn't know how things were going to happen. I didn't. I was terrible at making decisions. And as a matter of fact, I used to have a saying for it, which I can't think of now because since then I've learned how to make decisions. There's no reason for me to have that anymore. But if I think of it, I'll tell you what I used to call it. But something would happen in my life, and I would have options. And I would have to make a decision. And my options were A, B, C, D. Now, this is time. Okay, this is time. Moving along like this. All right. And yes, at this point, I have to make a decision. And I have to make a decision by this point here. That's what I have to make it by. Time does not stand still to wait for me to make a decision. While I'm trying to make a decision how I'm going to do things, the world and time is moving forward. And as things moves forward, conditions change. So the conditions that work for D, well, guess what? By this point, D is no longer an option because those conditions do not exist. And then time continues to move, okay? And conditions change. And now I cannot choose A because those conditions don't exist anymore. And time moves forward some more.
And conditions continue to change. And guess what? Now I can't do B because those conditions do not exist. So by the time it comes here, the only choice I have is C. And that may not have been the best choice. The best choice may have been D at this point right here. And if I had chosen D, everything else would have been great because even though the conditions changed, I would have been locked into D. And that decision would have, I would have gone forward. And that would also help the conditions that changed because every action involves a reaction or creates a reaction. So if I had chosen D, some of those conditions would not have changed because I would have locked into it. Now I'm stuck with C. Doesn't matter if C was the best choice or not. Okay. I didn't make a choice. The choice made me. And now I'm stuck with this until another opportunity comes for me to make another decision. Now I'm a little bit older and a little bit wiser, and I know how to make a decision, or at least I'm better at it. Okay. That's because when options occur, when I have options in my life now, I look around, I say, okay, who can help me if I need help with these things? What is likely to happen if I choose one of these things based on current conditions? Who can help me? Who can I go to for advice? You know, I can talk to my friends, my family, my wife. I can go, Amona, baby, these are my options. What do you think? And she says, well, what's going to make my life better and yours better and ours is better and the kids and the cats and the dogs in the house and stuff like that? And I go, I think that would be this one. But that's in the short term. But in the long run, maybe this one. But we talk it out. Okay? We talk, we discuss, we have a powwow. That's not what Trump does. Trump does this. They say, Mr. Trump, these are our options, A, B, C, and D. Let's talk about it. And Trump goes, no. I'm just going to pull the answer right out of here. There we go. Trump goes, here we go. I'm going to trust my gut. I'm not going to worry about information. I'm just going to, no information, just inflammation. Okay? That's right. He's going to go with his inflamed bowels, what they tell him to do. And that's how we get into such a mess, because he doesn't listen to people who know things. They say, Mr. Trump, if we drop a bomb on Iran, you remember a little thing called 9/11, and we had planes flying into buildings and into fields, and thousands of people died, and then we dragged ourselves into a fake war with Iraq instead of going after the people in Afghanistan. Remember that? We didn't have an entrance strategy. We didn't have an exit strategy. We didn't have any kind of strategy. And we lost a lot of lives, a lot of treasure, a lot of blood, a lot of treasure. I was there for that. We remember it. Don't attack Iran. Aside the fact that you'll have us in a war that you're currently to your own campaign, you promised not to get us involved in more wars. So fuck that, right? Fuck your campaign promise, unless you keep one now. The only promise is usually keeps it to the rich people. And who's going to benefit from that? Dropping bombs? Well, military industrial complex. I'm running out of space. So I'm going to say industrial complex and people who've invested their money in that. Okay? And who's to say that when Trump said, give me 2 weeks, I'll know in 2 weeks, that he just wasn't saying to his friends, this is what I'm going to do. We're going to drop some bombs, and we're going to need some more military equipment going over to Israel And guess what? Stocks are going to go up. So buy, as in purchase. Yeah. Remember back when I said he was going to fix the economy, but instead he's going to rig it? That's part of the rigging. We lose money. Because what happens if there's a war in the Middle East? Oil prices go up. Oil prices go up. Gas prices go up. Gas prices go up. Everything that is related to gas, like moving goods and services, that goes up too. And who pays that? We do. We, the common folk. And some of those common folk actually voted for that asshole because they didn't know any better. They didn't know any better. And I still can't remember what I used to call it. When you don't make a decision, you just let shit happen until you're stuck with a conclusion, right? Welcome to Switzerland. Welcome. It used to be the United States of America. Now, what the hell did I do? Oh, sorry. There we go. Switzerland. Now, I don't like to be a gloom and doom type of person. I do I do my best. I do my best to look on the bright side of life. I'm like that optimistic Jesus character in Life of Brian. I think it's Life of Brian, right? But it says always look on the bright side of life. I try desperately hard to do that. And in trying to see the bright side of life and the good in things, the good in people, I hope I spread that joy to others. But sometimes we have to look ugly right in the face and say, sir, you've had 2 weeks. What are you going to do? Now, so brothers and sisters, I'm trying, like I said, this is just off the cuff this morning. I didn't plan on doing this one. I forgot the actual sermon I was going to write because I didn't even have it up here. I deleted it. Damn it. I could have used it to fill time. Shit. Now the other thing that you notice during all of this stuff that's going on, whenever the Trump people take the stage to make statements, one of the things they do is most of them do not know how to do their jobs. And to them, they're not doing a job, they're playing a role. And they dress up for the role. So, for example, Trump wears this MAGA hat. Okay, he's selling merchandise. You know, he's not the president. He doesn't want to be president. He just wants to stay out of jail and make money. So he takes the stage and he says shit because he knows people have to listen to shit wearing his hat. How many fucking presidents, no matter how bad their hair was, went around wearing a hat? Okay? And he's wearing that hat because, one, he's saying, make America great again. That's a command to you to do it because he can't. He has no fucking idea how to do it. So he's reminding you, you have to make America great again. And he wants you to think it's getting in that direction so you see it every time. The more you see it, the more you're willing to believe it. That's why he's wearing that hat all the fucking time. That hat is his mission accomplished banner. Okay? If you remember when George Bush II, during the Iraq War, claimed victory, and he got into his little uniform. He dressed up like a pilot. He played dress up just like a little pilot. The job had not been done, but he looked good in that little pilot uniform. Okay, he crawls out the plane like he landed it. No, and then he gets in front. He goes, "Mission accomplished." And then people go, "Yay!" And no, the mission was not accomplished. And what do you get? Thousands and thousands, and maybe even millions of pictures saying "mission accomplished." And that's what Trump does with his hat. You see it every time you go somewhere. Okay, he's saying "Make America Great Again." He's saying two things: buy my hat. Okay, and he's got the little numbers on the side, 45 and 47, which I still blame Biden for that. okay? What Biden should have done, because Trump was making those hats during the campaign. The election hadn't even been voted on yet. Biden should have resigned, and had Kamala Harris become president. She would have been the 47th president, and then Trump would have been stuck with all those fucking hats. And then then it'd be changed to 7 to an 8. So all those little hats, 45-47, okay? It's like 45, 47. What we going to do with these hats? Well, we got to do that. Change all the hats, okay? Or we can do this. We can do this. We got all these hats that say 45, 47. We can just change the stitching and do this. And then we can sell the hats that way, okay? But whatever, we can still use the hats. We just can't use them like this. See, that's what Biden should have done. But then again, he didn't listen to me. I wasn't one of his advisors. But you know that the Trump people don't know shit about policy, don't know shit about their jobs, don't know shit about the Constitution, but they dress up for the roles. So Kristi Noem, every time she goes out to talk about immigration, she makes racist statements, not policy. She talks racist shit and denigrates people, but she dresses up with a little hat and a little flapjack. Well, it's a flapjack on her, flak jacket. The flak jacket just with all the bulletproof stuff, so that basically it's supposed to be bulletproof. It's just protecting her from the little from wisdom getting in. Wisdom's trying to get in and penetrate, and it can't, because it can't penetrate that vest. So she just spouts ignorance. Okay, but they dress up for the part. They, Ed Hegseth slicks his hair back, tries to look all Fox Newsy, because that's how he looked when Trump discovered him, all Fox Newsy. So he plays the part. Tulsi Gabbard doesn't know shit about her job, but she dresses up the part. Okay, that Cash Patel guy, and I think Patel actually is Hindu for more cash. That's what he's trying to just raising money, and he also doesn't do his job either. But they play dress up. They try to look the parts. They try to act the parts when they can't perform the parts. So, brothers and sisters, if you look, here's the deal. I now owe the GD a nickel, I think. Iran sent a message via social media that if the United States got involved or further involved, that we would pay consequences for long-term consequences. We started paying long-term consequences back in November when the election didn't go the way it should have gone. We started paying long-term consequences once Trump was sworn in. We started paying long-term consequences when a certain Second Amendment guy should have spent more time on a shooting range than shooting off his mouth. We started paying long-term consequences when Trump could exploit the so-called assassination attempt on his life. We started paying long-term consequences when we stopped paying attention to long-term consequences. That's when we started having to pay them. So now Iran is saying, hey guys, look, yeah, you know something? We don't have to fuck you up as a country. It only took 20 guys to do damage like September 11th. Well, 19 guys, because one of those guys got picked up somewhere. We don't have to bomb you. We don't have to send destroyers. We don't have to nuke you. There are other ways of fucking you up than just that. It's like having a dispute with your neighbor, and you say like, okay, I'm gonna go to city council. You're having a dispute back and forth, and they want to build a fence. And you said, fuck you, you can't build a fence. Your tree has to come down, or your tree
whatever it is the dispute is about. And you get back and forth and you get to a fist fights and stuff like that. And then the guy goes, you know something? Fuck this. I can't beat him. He's too big. Every time we get into a fist fight, he kicks my ass. So I'm a poisonous dog. Yeah. That will hurt more than losing a fist fight. He says, yeah, I'll just poison his dog. It's not much. It's only a little dog, but it'll hurt him. I said, yeah, I'm not. Well, he has a beautiful lawn. I'm not going to fight him. Every time I fight him, he kicks my ass. I'm going to put the seeds of weed seeds in all over his lawn so the weeds just start popping up. And then I'm going to pour bleach in his yard, and I'm going to spell out cunt in his front yard with bleach. So it has all this green lawn, and then in this white patch of the word cunt in the front yard. You know, I can't win a fist fight. You're going to kick my ass every single time. I can have you doxxed. You know, just little shit. And that's what Iran's going to do. Okay. They're going to have their little devotees, their little crazy fanatics. You know, they have their fanatics. Trump has his fanatics, you know, and they'll have a fanatic off, I guess. You know, Trump will drop a bomb and they'll, you know, terrorize us a little bit, but it won't affect Trump because he's safe behind his White House walls, and he's safe behind his Mar-a-Lago fences with security. We don't have security. Even if we did have security, it's not going to protect our wallets. And that's what we'll be hurting long term. All because we did not think about the long-term consequences of putting this motherfucker back in office. Now, the other thing is that if you think about Trump, and try not to, because you'll get inflammation, not information. But he's never actually won anything in his life. Everything he's done that looks like he moved ahead, he somehow bought or cheated. You know, he avoided the draft, bone spurs. Got into school, someone else took his test for him. Okay, he couldn't win the election on his own. Comey had to help him. Russia had to help him. Elon Musk had to help him. And I mean big fucking help. And then Trump couldn't run the government once he got into office. Not the first time, not the second time. Almost everything that he's trying to do is based on Project 2025. He didn't have to think about it. He didn't have to work at it. He just can read something and say, I'll have a policy in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Because I'm not strong enough to make a decision on my own. I have to wait to find out what someone tells me. That's true. Short-term consequences are bad enough. That's true. But what can I tell you? We're in this together. And I think together we're going to get through this. And if nothing else, you know, like I said, if you need to talk to me, send me an email. I'll try to talk you off the ledge, talk you back down. Tune into Coffee with the Dog Monday through Friday, and we'll try to get through this together. We'll try to laugh it out and talk it out. Okay, maybe we'll accidentally find a solution. You know, but I'm gonna tell you now, we don't have to sit back and do nothing. Okay, I'm gonna tell you like my mother would have told me if she stuck around long enough after she dropped me off at the adoption agency. My mother would have said, everybody can do something. Find out what your something is and do it. My mother didn't say that. She would have. And maybe my father should have said it. Maybe. Instead of me waiting until I got old enough to make it up on my own and learn it by myself. So brothers and sisters, find out what you can do and do it. Okay. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be, let's put it this way. We can't stop those bombs from landing on Iran. They've already dropped. Okay. And I'm not suggesting that we send money to help them or anything like that, but we can help each other. Okay. Because this is weird. We're about to face some long-term consequences because of who's in the White House and who's not making decisions, and who that person in the White House is listening to. His inflamed gut. And see, people watch people. There was something on the news, and it gave a list of the people he wasn't listening to and the people he was listening to. And the people he was not listening to were Marco Rubio, I think, who was the Secretary of State, and Tulsi Gabbard, who was in charge of DNI, the central of their intelligence agencies. He wasn't listening to them. And he gave showed a list of like 8 people that he was listening to. No, that's not what's happening. What's happening is he's got something going on in his gut. And those 8 people are just reinforcing what his gut is telling him. That's all. He's not actually listening to them. He's, just got this feeling in his gut. Okay. Now, before he okayed those bombs to be dropped on Iran, he was so indecisive. And then Israel says, but we're not indecisive. And they made an attack, and they killed 4 leaders in Iran. And then Trump says, I was in it all along. I knew about it, and he didn't. He didn't want it to happen. He didn't know it was going to happen like that. But once they were successful, he was like, oh yeah, part of the plan. It was part of the plan. Me to be ignorant and go, yeah, I did that. I helped. And then when we saw Israel was leaning in that direction toward, quote, successful missions, Trump wants to be part of something successful. He cannot initiate success by himself. He has to cling on to someone else is doing something successful. Okay? Trump is like almost like a poor Elon Musk. Okay? Trump now, he's got people someone else creates a business for some kind of cell phone, and they go, Trump, put your name on it. It'll help. Trump goes, oh, sure, I don't have to have any talent. Use my name. Fucking idiots. They forget. Again, what has that Trump name done for Elon Musk? Okay? Other than the military contracts, his businesses, his stocks are taking a shot. And poor people who have money invested in it are losing their shirts. And I don't know where I just went with that. I'll watch the tape later and see if I can justify my answer based on what I said and compare it to what's actually happening in the world and say, see, I was right. No matter what I said, I'll just say, see, I was right. It worked out like that. So, but brothers and sisters, before we go, I want to thank everybody for watching and who's watching and why you're watching. It doesn't matter why you're watching. I hope it somehow had a little levity and can find a little bit of brightness in what the fuck is going on out there in this country. Okay, and for those of you who are saying you're bashing Trump, well, kinda. I bash stupidity, okay? And it doesn't matter who does the stupid shit. I'm going to bash them. Right now, there's so much stupid shit being done by Trump. I don't even have time to pay attention to the stupid shit by other people. I don't. I'm trying. So I thank you all for listening and watching. And for those who will be watching in the future who haven't started watching yet, you just stream it later. I thank you for watching. I'm doing it right now. I'm thanking you in advance, even though you haven't started watching it yet. I'm thanking you. I have faith in you. So thank you. Damn it. I was supposed to promote, damn it. Okay. I want to remind you to check out episodes of Them Way Past Funny on YouTube, Knob TV, and Spark TV. And if you need a comedian for a personal event, a private event, check out gigsalad.com and /GD Fenderson. Give him a call, give him an email, give him a chance. That's what I'm saying. Give him some money, let him perform. And also on July 19th, GD Fenderson will be performing a hybrid show. It's streamed live from the So GD Funny Comedy Bunker in Westminster, Maryland. And that's July 19th at 7:30 p.m. on plausible.com. That's the only place that most people can see it. There will be a live audience, but there's no more room. there's no more room. The So GD Funny Comedy Bunker can only hold so many people, and those seats are actually gone. So if you want to watch it, you have to watch it on plausible.com. Okay, and it's $5 per device. So if you have like a big screen TV and you can watch it on that, you could put like 6 people in your house, 10 people in your house, charge them all $1 each. It costs you $5, but you just made $5. You know what I'm saying? So make some money off of GD Fenderson. Invite people in to watch the show. It's going to be a good show. I know because I've been listening to the rehearsals. So I want to thank those of you who subscribed to my fledgling YouTube channel and on Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll on Facebook and on YouTube. Thank you. Bless you. And also invite you to continue to watch us and be here next Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern Orthodox time. On behalf of the Church of Last Resort and the entire Roll family, my wife Amona, my kids Cinnamon and Jelly Jr., our cat Tootsie, our dog Stop Dropping, I wish you safe travels, and I hope you'll join us next week on Mind Dog TV and everywhere that our word is heard. So, brothers and sisters, in the name of George Collin, Robin Williams, and Richard Pryor, can I get a fuck? Yeah. You shop at Tantaley.